Chosen one. You are not here by accident, and you did not press play by chance. This moment was scheduled in heaven before you ever became aware of it. There is a divine appointment unfolding right now, aligned with perfect spiritual timing, and your spirit recognized the call before your mind could explain it. What you are sensing is not hype emotion or coincidence, it is confirmation. Anointed one, you are standing at the edge of a supernatural breakthrough. This is not a slow season, and it is not a delayed promise. This is sudden elevation, divine wealth transfer, and heaven-sent transformation beginning to press into the natural. As it is written in Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3, the vision is for an appointed time, and though it tarries, it will surely come. That appointed time is drawing near. Chosen one. This word is not about chasing money or reacting to markets. It is about stewardship, obedience, and positioning. God is awakening His people to the true purpose of wealth, not for self, but for kingdom impact. What feels heavy right now is not punishment, it is preparation. Those called to steward much are often refined deeply. Anointed one, let your heart be still and your spirit attentive. What follows is not information, it is impartation. Heaven is speaking. Listen closely. Chosen one. As you step into this moment, I want you to breathe and become aware of what is happening around you and within you, because heaven is drawing close in a way that is not accidental. There are seasons when God whispers, and there are seasons when He presses on your spirit with a weight so real that you cannot ignore it. This is that season. This is that pressing. This is that holy disruption that arrives when heaven is preparing you for something you cannot yet fully see. Anointed one. The question the Spirit keeps speaking is simple yet piercing. What are you doing with what He placed in your hands? Not the future blessing, not the promise you are still waiting to see unfold, but what He already gave you in seed form. Many look for the harvest without realizing that heaven has already delivered the blueprint, the structure, the silent instructions that are meant to build the foundation before the increase arrives. You may not feel it, but you are being shaped to hold something weighty, something generational, something that does not evaporate when systems shake, markets flip, or nations tremble. And they will tremble, chosen one. They will. As I sat with the Lord, I felt that same fire burn in my own chest, the same fire you have been sensing but perhaps could not put language to. It is the fire that comes when heaven is laying out a blueprint for the next move, the next assignment, the next elevation. For some, that blueprint includes acquiring businesses, stepping into industries you never thought you'd touch, or taking ownership of structures that once belonged to the world. For others, it looks like building foundations in silence, learning skills you didn't know you would need, or enduring pressure that feels unfair but is actually strategic. The Lord is not merely giving visions, He is distributing mantles. And mantles carry weight. They demand maturity, discernment, and the ability to hear even when the noise of life grows loud. That's why so many of you have been in what feels like a hidden season, misunderstood, underestimated, stretched and pressed. That stretching was not punishment, it was preparation. Was it painful? Yes. Was it lonely? Often. But anointed one. The oil that flows from a life pressed by God is different from the oil produced by ambition or human striving. It carries power, it carries authority. It carries the fragrance of someone who has survived the wilderness and refused to curse God in the dark. I know what that feels like because I walked through that same breaking season. I lost things I thought were stable. I watched doors close that I believed would stay open. I experienced moments where I wondered if I misunderstood God entirely. But just like Joseph, who spoke too soon and was thrust into years of refining, I learned that the pit is not the end. It is the shaping ground for the palace. And what I thought was breaking me was actually building the character required for what God was preparing me to carry. You, chosen one, are in that same divine classroom. As we lean into what the Lord is revealing for 2026 and beyond, there is a stillness coming, a pause, a divine breath right after structures collapse and before new systems rise. That pause is not a setback, it is a repositioning. Heaven will use that window to elevate those who were faithful in the quiet years. Those who built when it was not glamorous, those who prayed when no one applauded, those who obeyed when no one understood. And make no mistake, shaking is coming. The banking systems, the markets, the institutions, people once thought untouchable, they will tremble. Not to destroy you, but to free you. Because hidden within the shaking is a transfer, a shift in ownership and influence that was always meant to land in the hands of those whose hearts belong fully to God. You may feel small now. You may feel like the pressures you face are too heavy. But the truth is, this heaven does not invest this level of refining into someone who is meant to remain ordinary. If you were simply meant to survive, you wouldn't be under this level of spiritual pressure. You are being prepared to steward something supernatural, something sacred, something that will require you to stand when others fall. And though your journey has been costly, not one tear, not one trial, not one moment of loss has been wasted. The Lord has been building resilience in you, strength in you, purity in you. He has been making sure that when the blessing comes, it will not destroy you. And when the wealth shifts, it will not become your God. Chosen one, heaven sees you. Heaven knows the weight you carry. Heaven knows the questions you whisper when no one else is around. And heaven is responding not with empty encouragement, but with instruction alignment and supernatural positioning. You are closer to the rise than you realize. You are closer to the shift than you can yet perceive. Let your spirit stay open. Let your heart stay surrendered. Something holy is unfolding. Chosen one. As we step deeper into this word, I need you to understand something essential. Heaven never places a mandate on your life without already preparing the environment where that mandate will flourish. If you have felt tension, pressure, or a sense of divine restlessness, it is because your spirit is outgrowing the structures that once held you. The Lord is expanding your inner capacity long before the external blessing arrives. Just like a wineskin must be stretched to carry new wine, your life has been stretched to hold a level of influence, responsibility, and spiritual authority you have not walked in before. You may have interpreted the stretching as warfare or chaos, but heaven interprets it as transformation. You are being made capable of carrying the weight of what God is about to place in your hands. Anointed one. The Spirit keeps drawing my attention to the way heaven prepares its chosen stewards. God does not pour kingdom-level wealth into hands that are unprepared, distracted, or divided. He pours it into those who have been proven in silence, sharpened in obscurity, and strengthened in the fields that nobody applauded. Think of David before he ever held a crown. He held a harp and a sling. Before he ever sat on a throne, he learned how to fight lions and bears in the wilderness, where no one witnessed his victories but God. Many of you have been in that same wilderness, facing battles no one else knew you were fighting, conquering challenges that never made it to public testimony but were recorded in heaven. Those private victories were not meaningless. They were the prerequisites for what God is entrusting to you next. You have wondered why things you relied on suddenly shook, why relationships you thought were stable suddenly shifted, why opportunities that once seemed promising suddenly dried up. It felt unfair, like you were losing more than you were gaining. But chosen one, heaven was not taking from you, it was clearing your path. There are some weights you cannot carry into the next season, some voices that cannot influence your decisions, some patterns that cannot follow you into elevation. The shaking you felt was not punishment, it was liberation. God was removing what could sabotage your stewardship before the wealth arrives, before the transfer unfolds, before the systems flip. As I prayed over this word, I kept seeing the image of structures collapsing, not to crush the people of God, but to expose what was false, fragile, and built on sand. That is why this coming season carries both sobering and hopeful tones. There will be disruptions. There will be shaking in the financial realm, in the institutions men have trusted more than they trusted God. And yet, in the midst of the shaking, there will be unprecedented opportunity for those who have ears to hear and hearts to obey. Anointed one, this is not a time to fear. This is a time to prepare. The Lord is not sounding an alarm of doom, but a call to readiness. You are being positioned to step into places where influence and ownership will shift. You are being aligned to inherit what others mishandled. And let me speak from my own story for a moment, because I do not share these things from a distance. I too walked through the season of breaking misunderstanding and hiddenness. I too faced moments where I felt stripped down to nothing while still trying to hold on to the promise God whispered to me. There were days I had to remind myself that obedience is not validated by immediate evidence. There were seasons where the only confirmation I had that God was still with me was the fact that my spirit would not let go of the word He spoke. And yet every breaking became a doorway, every delay became a lesson, every loss became an anchor that forced my roots deeper into God's faithfulness. I look back now and see that what I thought was a setback was actually spiritual scaffolding. God was building me not for where I was, but for where I was going. And chosen one, He is doing the same with you. The Lord is showing me that many of you are carrying promises that feel heavy because they are connected to territories larger than your current circumstances. You are not dreaming too big. You are dreaming too small for what God intends. The calling on your life is not for small impact. It is for generational shift. And this is why the journey has felt intense. You are not just being prepared for wealth. You are being prepared for stewardship. You are not just being positioned for influence. You're being positioned for governance. This is not merely financial increase. This is divine assignment. Chosen one, heaven is not asking you to strive. Heaven is asking you to align. The weight you feel is not pressure to perform. It is the gravity of destiny pulling you forward. Lean in. Listen closely. The next steps will not come through logic, but through intimacy with God. Let your spirit remain open. The blueprint is unfolding. Chosen one. As we enter deeper into this revelation, I need you to understand something that the Spirit keeps echoing. Heaven moves differently with those who carry destiny in their bones. When God marks someone for an assignment that impacts generations, He begins shaping them long before the assignment becomes visible. This is why your journey has never looked ordinary. This is why your process has felt heavier than what others around you seem to carry. And this is why even when you tried to settle something inside, you refused to let you remain small. That refusal was not stubbornness, it was divine DNA awakening. Anointed one. The Lord is highlighting the importance of the internal structures He is building within you. You're being prepared to steward influence in realms that require not just financial wisdom, but spiritual resilience, emotional clarity, and unwavering obedience. Wealth transfer is not simply about money shifting hands. It is about the mantles that come with that wealth, the authority, the responsibility, the impact. Heaven is not releasing resources into the hands of those who will lose themselves. Heaven is releasing it into the hands of those who have been refined, humbled, tested, and purified enough to release glory back to God rather than glory to themselves. This is why many of you have been enduring intense personal refinement. In the silence, God has been dealing with your fears, your identity, your motives, your foundation. Not to shame you, but to strengthen you. A building is only as strong as what it rests on, and the calling on your life requires a foundation that cannot crack under pressure. Some of you have wondered why friendships were removed, why relationships dissolved, why certain opportunities slipped away. You questioned yourself, doubted your value, and even asked God if you misheard Him, but chosen one. Those losses were divine surgeries. God was removing everything that could weaken your future elevation. In prayer, I kept seeing many of you walking with heavy backpacks filled with old disappointments, old seasons, old versions of yourself. And the Spirit of the Lord whispered, "They cannot walk into a new realm carrying old identities, because the next season does not require who you were, it requires who you are becoming." Heaven has been stripping away the weight that would choke the blessing once the blessing arrives. You're not losing, you're being lightened. You're not being pushed down, you're being positioned. Anointed one, this is where the prophetic becomes practical. You must begin to live like someone who is being prepared for ownership, for leadership, for influence. That means disciplining your thoughts, aligning your habits, refining your discernment, and strengthening your spirit. And listen, this is not about moving in fear. This is about growing in readiness. Heaven is not asking you to be perfect. Heaven is asking you to be available, teachable, and obedient. The oil flows on obedience, not perfection. I feel led to speak prophetically into the emotional weight many of you have been carrying. Some of you have been under such relentless pressure that you began wondering if you were under attack or under construction. The truth is, you have been under both. The enemy fights what he fears. He does not waste bullets on empty vessels. He targets those who carry blueprints, those who carry ideas heaven intends to manifest on earth. That's why you have felt the heaviness. That's why you've been battling unexpected waves of doubt or fatigue. The pressure you feel is not a sign that you're failing, it is a sign that you are close. At the same time, heaven has been constructing something inside you that cannot be shaken, character that will not bow to pressure, faith that will not collapse under visibility, discernment that can see through manipulation and false alignment. This is why the journey has been long and often misunderstood, and this is why you cannot compare your timeline to someone else's. They are being prepared for a chapter. You are being prepared for a book. Let me pause and speak from my own journey again, because authenticity matters. There were seasons where I felt crushed beneath the weight of invisible expectations. Times when I felt like I was walking through spiritual fog, unable to see more than a step ahead. Times when the refining felt unfair. Times when obedience cost me relationships, stability, or reputation. But with every season of surrender, I discovered something profound. God never takes more than He intends to replace. Every time something left, something deeper was being formed. Every time a door shut, wisdom expanded. Every time I thought I was being buried, I was actually being planted. That same truth is unfolding in your life, chosen one. The breaking has purpose. The silence has purpose. The stretching has purpose. You are not being crushed. You are being calibrated. You are not being diminished. You are being defined. The Lord is aligning you with territories, opportunities, and responsibilities that require a version of you that only refinement can produce. As you lean into this season, let the Spirit anchor this truth in you. Heaven is not preparing you for something temporary. Heaven is preparing you for something transferable, something generational, something that will outlive you. Stay alert, stay surrendered, stay expectant. Heaven is not finished speaking, chosen one. As we move further into this divine unfolding, I feel the weight of what heaven is trying to press into your spirit. The Lord is revealing that the next season of your life will demand a higher level of spiritual posture, one that does not react to circumstances but responds to divine instruction. For too long, many of God's people have been conditioned to move only when they see physical signs. But those who are being called into this wealth, shift, this supernatural transfer, must learn to move by revelation, not reaction. This is why God has been sharpening your ears, cleansing your vision, and refining your ability to discern His voice from all the noise surrounding you. The systems of this world are loud, but heaven is precise, and you, chosen one, are being trained for precision. In prayer, the Lord kept showing me a picture of a tree whose roots stretch deeper than its branches rise. At first, the tree seems to grow slowly, almost painfully slow, and outwardly, it looks as though nothing is happening. But beneath the surface, where no eye can see, the roots are digging into the soil, anchoring themselves so deeply that when storms arrive, the tree does not break. This is you. This is what God has been doing. Your roots have been stretching deeper, not because God is delaying you, but because He is securing you. Elevation without anchoring is dangerous. Increase without spiritual structure is destructive. And heaven loves you too much to give you something that your character cannot carry. So the slow seasons were not divine neglect, they were divine strengthening. Anointed one. The Spirit of God keeps whispering that you are stepping into a time where your inward preparation will meet outward manifestation. The unseen and the seen will converge. What you have been cultivating in private faith, obedience, endurance, integrity will begin to bear fruit in public. People will look at you and think your rise was sudden, but you will know the truth. Nothing about your process was sudden. It was sacred, it was strategic, it was structured under the hand of a God who sees the end from the beginning. This next season will not catch you by surprise because you have lived in continual surrender. Even when you didn't understand, you obeyed. Even when you were tired, you held on. Even when everything around you seemed misaligned, your spirit refused to release the promise. That is why heaven trusts you. I want to speak into something many of you have battled silently, the fear of not being enough. You have questioned whether you are wise enough, skilled enough, disciplined enough, anointed enough to handle what God has promised. But hear me clearly, God does not choose the qualified. He qualifies the chosen. What He places in your hands, He empowers you to steward. When you feel inadequate, it is not a sign of insufficiency. It is a sign that the assignment is bigger than you. Every person God used, Joseph, Esther, David, Gideon, carried the same trembling in their spirit before heaven positioned them. Your trembling is not weakness, it is evidence of calling. As heaven prepares you for influence, there is also a cleansing taking place in your relationships. Some people have quietly exited your life, not because you failed them, but because they cannot walk where God is sending you. Others have been exposed, not to shame them, but to protect you. In the realm you are entering, not everyone can be trusted with proximity. Some people only celebrate you as long as you remain small. Some only support you as long as you remain accessible. But the moment God elevates you, their hearts shift. Heaven sees that long before you do. So do not mourn every departure. Many exits were divine protection in disguise. Chosen one. The Spirit is also revealing that discipline will become a key part of your next elevation. Not harsh striving, not performance-based spirituality, but holy discipline. The kind that comes from knowing who you are, where you are going, and what God has entrusted to you. Your habits are shifting, your appetite is changing, your patterns are being restructured. Heaven is making you more intentional because the blessing will require intentionality. Wealth requires structure. Influence requires order. Authority requires purity. You are not being micromanaged by heaven. You are being trained. Let me be honest with you. From my own journey, there were seasons where God asked me to lay down things that didn't seem harmful, to separate from environments I thought I could handle, to release habits I didn't think were a big deal. But later, I realized God was not pruning me to punish me. He was pruning me to prepare me. Some weights don't seem heavy until you begin to climb. And God knew the height He was leading me to required a lighter load. When I surrendered, I didn't see the purpose immediately. But looking back, I see how every sacrifice became space for something greater. And that same pattern is unfolding in your life. Anointed One, Heaven is aligning your steps with divine timing. Nothing you have lost will be wasted. Nothing you have endured will be forgotten. You are closer than you think, stronger than you realize, and more prepared than you feel. Keep your spirit open. Keep your posture surrendered. Keep your heart expectant. Heaven is not finished. Chosen one. As we step into this next portion of the Word, the Spirit is emphasizing something deeply significant. Heaven has been orchestrating a separation between who you were and who you are becoming. This is not a punishment, it is a divine distinction. Before God elevates anyone, He always draws a line between the old season and the anointed future. You may have felt this as an inner pulling, a quiet discontent, a sense that something in your life no longer fits, even if you couldn't describe why. That sensation is the sound of destiny calling your name. Heaven is shifting your identity from survivor to steward, from waiting to walking, from hoping to executing. Anointed One, this identity shift is why you can't go back to what used to comfort you, why old habits don't satisfy you anymore, why old environments feel too small, and old conversations no longer nourish your spirit. Growth always exposes the walls of yesterday's container, and because your calling is expanding, everything around you must expand as well. You are being transitioned from a mindset of limitation into a mindset of kingdom-scale thinking. This is why God is stretching your imagination, increasing your capacity, and challenging your assumptions. Heaven needs you to see beyond your upbringing, beyond what your family walked in, beyond what your past taught you to expect. The assignment on your life is bigger than your background. I feel the Lord highlighting that many of you are carrying guilt for outgrowing the places that once nurtured you. But hear me clearly, outgrowing a place does not mean dishonoring it. It simply means your spirit has matured beyond what that environment can sustain. When God enlarged Abraham's promise, He had to lead him away from familiar surroundings. When God elevated Joseph, he could not remain in the fields. When God prepared David, he had to step beyond the pasture. You, chosen one, are experiencing that same divine pull. Do not resist the stretching. Lean into it. Destiny is not waiting for your comfort. Destiny is waiting for your obedience. As heaven is expanding you, the Spirit is also refining your emotional landscape. There is a purification taking place, not to harden you, but to strengthen you. You are learning to respond instead of react. You are learning to discern instead of absorb. You are learning to pause instead of panic. These shifts are the internal markings of someone who will carry authority in chaotic times. When the world shakes, you will not. When systems fail, you will stand. When others crumble under pressure, the peace of God will anchor you. This is because the Lord is installing spiritual stability within you, stability that cannot be replicated through self-help or human wisdom. It is the stability that comes only from being held, refined and recalibrated by the hand of God. Let me share from my own experience again, because I know the power of hearing from someone who has walked through the same fire. There were seasons when I felt as though God was stripping layer after layer of my identity, not to expose me, but to free me. I had built my sense of worth around roles, achievements, and responsibilities, but when those things shifted, I felt as though I had lost myself. What I didn't realize was that God was not removing my identity. He was revealing it. He was peeling away every false label, every inherited limitation, every fear that whispered I wasn't enough. And though the process was uncomfortable, it positioned me to receive what He wanted to place in my hands. The same is happening to you. Heaven is also preparing you for divine strategy. Not earthly logic, but strategy birthed in prayer, sealed in obedience, and fueled by revelation. Some of you have been receiving ideas, impressions, and small nudges that you dismissed because they didn't make sense naturally. But Anointed One Heaven rarely births strategy that looks logical at first. What God gives His chosen is often ahead of its time. This is why He's been training you to trust, even when you don't have all the details. You will walk into moments where the Spirit nudges you to move, invest, align, or build, and though it may not seem reasonable, it will be right. Heaven's timing does not look like earthly timing. Chosen one, your spirit is awakening, your discernment is sharpening, your authority is rising. Every experience you've endured was part of your preparation. Nothing was wasted, nothing was random. You are standing at the doorway of a season where God will not only reveal the purpose of your pain, He will redeem it. Stay aligned, stay yielded. Heaven is still unveiling more. Chosen one. As we continue, I feel a deep stirring from the Spirit, a gentle but undeniable pressure to help you see the true magnitude of what God is constructing within you. You are not merely walking into a new season, you are walking into a new assignment, a new dimension, a new spiritual stature. Heaven is not simply improving your circumstances. Heaven is expanding your identity. And this expansion requires you to release every version of yourself that was shaped by fear, lack, survival, or small thinking. The Lord is calling you into a mindset that mirrors His nature, abundant, generational, visionary, and unshakable. This is why everything around you has been shifting. The shaking you feel is not punishment, it is alignment. Anointed One, the Spirit keeps highlighting these words: rise in your thinking. Not rise in pride, not rise in ego, but rise in spiritual perception. You cannot carry a kingdom assignment with a wilderness mindset. You cannot steward supernatural wealth while clinging to natural limitations. You cannot govern what God gives you if you still see yourself through the lens of your past. This is why heaven has been teaching you to think differently, perceive differently, and respond differently. Every challenge you endured was not just an attack, it was a classroom. Every disappointment was not a setback, it was a sharpening. Every delay was not denial, it was development. The Lord is revealing that many of you have been wrestling with two identities, the version of yourself shaped by past experiences and the version of yourself heaven is calling you to step into. This inner conflict is not a sign of spiritual weakness, it is a sign of transformation. The old cannot coexist with the new. One identity is rooted in fear, the other in faith. One identity is shaped by trauma, the other by truth. One identity is tied to what you survived, the other to what you are destined to build. This tension is why you feel stretched. Heaven is pulling you into the identity that aligns with your assignment. I've walked through this myself, seasons where God kept asking me to let go of who I thought I was so I could become who He designed me to be. I fought for my comfort, but comfort was never the goal. Calling was, and calling always demands surrender. God asked me to release relationships that drained my spirit patterns, that limited my growth environments, that diluted my purpose. At the time, I felt like everything was being taken from me, but now I see that God was actually making room for the life He always intended me to live. What once felt like loss now looks like liberation. And chosen one, you're experiencing that same holy exchange. Heaven is not asking you to shrink. Heaven is asking you to stand, to rise, to take your place, to speak with authority, to build with boldness, to steward what others mishandled. You are not called to blend in, you are called to break ground. You are not called to repeat the patterns of your family. You are called to establish new ones. You are not called to maintain old systems. You are called to build kingdom structures that carry heaven's blueprint. Your role is not small. Your purpose is not random. Your preparation is not wasted. Anointed one. The Spirit keeps showing me that many of you are being drawn away from environments that cannot handle your future. This isn't arrogance, it's alignment. Your spirit is outgrowing conversations rooted only in fear, lack, or limitation. You are craving depth. You are craving truth. You are craving instruction from heaven. This hunger is evidence that God is preparing you to stand in places where influence matters. You cannot rise with those who refuse to move. You cannot grow with those who resent your growth. You cannot discern clearly around those who embrace confusion. Heaven is isolating you so it can instruct you. And this instruction is not vague. God is revealing strategies, ideas, insights, and opportunities that will position you for influence when structures begin to shake. This is why your dreams have increased. This is why your spiritual sensitivity has heightened. This is why you are beginning to feel the pull to prepare, to organize, to educate yourself, to clear your environment, to align your habits. These are not random impulses, they are divine signals. Let me tell you something from my own journey that I wish someone had told me earlier. When God begins preparing you for influence, He will disrupt everything that is misaligned. He will rearrange your priorities. He will tighten your circle. He will increase your discipline. He will silence distractions. And though it may feel uncomfortable in the moment, you will look back and realize that heaven was not removing things. Heaven was making space for upgrade. Chosen one. Something is awakening in you, a new fire, a new clarity, a new boldness. You may not fully see it yet, but heaven sees it. You may not understand the timing yet, but heaven knows it. Keep walking, keep listening, keep yielding. Heaven is not finished shaping you for what is coming. Chosen one. As we walk further into this unfolding revelation, the Spirit is impressing something profound and tender upon my heart for you. You are not simply being prepared for influence, you are being prepared for impact. Influence can be temporary, but impact carries weight into eternity. Influence may shift with trends, but impact shifts generations. And what God is shaping within you is not the kind of influence the world gives. It is the kind that heaven authorizes. That is why the preparation has been so intense, why the resistance has been so fierce, and why the refining has been so deep. Heaven does not invest this level of transformation in someone who is meant to live a small life. Anointed one. The Lord keeps showing me that many of you are emerging from seasons where the pressure felt unbearable. But pressure is the birthplace of diamonds. Oil does not flow without crushing. Capacity does not increase without stretching. And the mantle you are stepping into requires both. You may have wondered why your pruning felt more severe than those around you, why your spiritual battles felt heavier, why your inner healing ran deeper. But the Spirit says, because the calling on your life is greater. Not greater in comparison to others, but greater in responsibility, in purpose, in the weight of what heaven is entrusting to you. Some of you have been walking through emotional detox. You have been forced to confront wounds you buried, fears you ignored, and patterns you excused. At first, it felt like chaos, but it was really cleansing. Heaven cannot pour a new assignment into a vessel still holding yesterday's pain. So God has been removing emotional toxins that would have sabotaged your future decisions. You were not breaking down, you were being purified. You were not losing control, you were gaining capacity. You were not falling apart, you were shedding the version of yourself that could not carry where God is taking you. In my own journey, I've lived this deeply. There were moments I felt shattered, moments where I didn't recognize myself, moments where I thought I was failing spiritually because everything familiar was being stripped away. But later, I realized God wasn't dismantling me. He was rebuilding me. He removed props I leaned on so I would learn to stand in His strength. He removed voices that clouded my discernment so I could hear Him clearly. He removed comfort so that calling would have room to grow. Every loss was a lesson, every breaking was a birthing, every separation was a step toward the identity He intended for me. Chosen. One, heaven is giving you spiritual maturity that cannot be gained through ease. You're learning to discern people's intentions beyond their words. You're learning to recognize opportunities heaven sends versus traps the enemy disguises. You're learning to pause before reacting, to pray, before deciding, to listen before moving. These may feel like small internal shifts, but they are the marks of someone being trained for leadership in a time of global shaking. Hear this clearly, you are not being prepared for a comfortable life, you are being prepared for a strategic life, one that will require courage when others run, clarity when others panic, and faith when others fail. In the shaking that is coming to financial systems, institutions, and structures, God needs voices that are anchored, eyes that are clear, and hearts that are surrendered. And you, Anointed One, are one of those voices. But with this calling comes another truth. The Spirit is highlighting heaven, is strengthening your boundaries, not to make you distant, but to make you discerning. You cannot pour endlessly into people who refuse to grow. You cannot remain accessible to those who drain what God is trying to fill. You cannot stay loyal to old cycles that sabotage your spiritual momentum. Heaven is teaching you to guard what He gave you, because what is coming will require stewardship, not leakage. Some of you have felt guilty for pulling back. You've questioned whether you were being too protective or too withdrawn. But the Spirit says, you are not withdrawing, you are refining your access. The anointing on your life does not belong everywhere. Not everyone can carry the weight of your authenticity. Not everyone can understand the language of your calling, and not everyone can walk beside you in the next season. The narrower your path becomes, the clearer your purpose becomes. Isolation is not abandonment. It is incubation. Chosen one, heaven is aligning your thoughts, your habits, your relationships, your environment, and even your emotions with your future. Everything that feels uncomfortable right now is evidence that transformation is at work. You are transitioning out of an old version of yourself, and that version is not dying quietly, it is dying necessarily. You are being recalibrated for destiny. You are being restructured for stewardship. You are being refined for authority. Listen with your spirit. You are stepping into a season where heaven will trust you with rooms, resources, and responsibilities that your past self could never handle. That is why God is not rushing your process. That is why He is not answering certain prayers yet. That is why He is not opening certain doors prematurely. Elevation without preparation is a collapse waiting to happen, but elevation with preparation becomes unstoppable. Anointed one, be still and know heaven is not done shaping you. Much more is unfolding. Chosen one. As we continue into this next unfolding, the Spirit is drawing my attention to something crucial. The atmosphere around your life has changed, and whether you realize it or not, heaven has already shifted you into a new spiritual cadence. You are no longer walking in the tempo of your old season. Your spirit has accelerated, your discernment has heightened, and your inner sensitivity has increased. This is why familiar places feel foreign, why old rhythms no longer fit, and why your spirit is restless in environments you once tolerated. You are not malfunctioning, you are transitioning. Heaven has updated your internal operating system, and everything in your life must now align with that update. Anointed one, the Spirit keeps highlighting the importance of spiritual posture. In this next dimension, you cannot walk with a slouched spirit. Heaven is calling you to stand upright, not in pride, but in authority. You have spent years being humbled, refined, sifted, corrected, and purified. Now the Lord is teaching you how to stand, how to speak, how to discern, how to command, and how to carry yourself as someone heaven trusts. There is a difference between someone who received a calling and someone who has been prepared for it. You are becoming the latter, and the demand on your spirit reflects that preparation. You've probably noticed that distractions feel heavier lately, not because the distractions increased, but because your calling intensified. Little things that used to pull your attention no longer satisfy you. Conversations rooted in fear or gossip irritate your spirit. Environments with no spiritual oxygen suffocate you. This is not sensitivity, it is elevation. The higher you climb, the less you can breathe contaminated air. The Lord is detoxing your atmosphere. He is training you to guard your focus the way someone in a critical mission guards their oxygen supply. Heaven cannot afford for you to be distracted during a divine assignment. The Spirit is also revealing that you are being trained in spiritual clarity. This clarity is not loud, it is internal. It shows up in the way peace settles over your spirit when something is right, and how disturbance tightens in your chest when something is off. God is teaching you not only how to hear Him in your prayer closet, but how to feel Him in your everyday steps. You will walk into moments, meetings, decisions, or opportunities, and while others analyze with logic, your spirit will discern truth instantly. This is a gift given to those who will be placed in positions where decisions matter, positions of influence, stewardship, and strategy. Chosen one, heaven is also forming emotional resilience within you, not numbness but stability. You are learning not to react from wounds, assumptions, or fear. Instead, you are learning to respond from wisdom, truth, and conviction. This is essential because the environments you are being prepared for will require emotional precision. You cannot afford to make decisions based on offense or insecurity. You cannot afford to lose peace because someone else lost control. You cannot afford to crumble because pressure intensifies. The Spirit is building within you the emotional structure of a leader, steady, grounded, and anchored. Let me speak from experience again, because I know what this internal rebuilding feels like. There were seasons when God would allow small irritations to expose big wounds. People would treat me unfairly, and instead of defending me, God stayed silent, not to abandon me, but to show me where I still needed healing. There were days when fear tried to suffocate me, and instead of removing the fear, immediately God strengthened my faith until fear had no place left to stay. Emotional maturity did not fall on me in a moment. It was trained into me through pressure. And now I can see why. When God elevates you, you cannot afford to be unstable internally. Elevation demands wholeness. That same work is happening in you, anointed one. Heaven is polishing your character, refining your motives, stabilizing your emotions, strengthening your discernment, and sharpening your instincts. Every part of you is being fine-tuned for the assignment ahead. Nothing you experienced was wasted, not the heartbreak, not the delays, not the disappointments, not the pressure. You are being sculpted into someone who is not moved easily, someone who can carry responsibility without collapsing, someone who can steward wealth without corruption, someone who can lead without ego, someone who can stand without wavering. The Spirit is also showing me that many of you are beginning to sense a holy discomfort when you try to minimize yourself. You attempt to shrink back out of fear of being misunderstood, but heaven pushes you forward. You dim your light to make others comfortable, but heaven reignites the flame. You try to avoid responsibility, but heaven keeps placing opportunities in front of you. This is because you were not created for mediocrity. You were created to carry weight spiritually, emotionally, and generationally. Chosen one. You are in the middle of a supernatural upgrade. Your inner world is being rebuilt, your outer world is being reorganized, and your future is being reauthored by the hand of God. Stay aligned, stay teachable, stay yielded. The next part of this journey carries even deeper revelation. Chosen one. As we continue into this next portion of the Word, I feel the Spirit thick in the atmosphere, resting with a weight that is both tender and commanding. Heaven is urging you to understand the significance of the moment you are living in. You are not in an ordinary chapter. You are in a divinely engineered transition point, an intersection between who you have been and who you are becoming. And this intersection is sacred. The Lord is not simply adjusting your path. He is recalibrating your entire internal compass so that every step you take aligns with the assignment that has been waiting for you since before you were born. You can feel it. You can sense it. Something within you refuses to settle for the familiar because heaven is calling you into the unprecedented. An anointed one. The Spirit keeps highlighting a powerful truth. You are being repositioned for visibility, not the visibility of vanity, but the visibility of purpose. You are not rising so people can applaud you. You are rising so people can find the God who carried you. There are mantles being placed on you that require public demonstration, and this is why heaven has been teaching you how to stand when eyes are on you, how to move when the pressure increases, and how to speak with clarity even when your voice trembles. You have been experiencing moments where you feel the urge to withdraw, to hide, to step back into the shadows, but heaven keeps pulling you forward. Why? Because you were not created to be hidden forever. You were hidden only long enough to be prepared. I want you to feel the seriousness of that. There were seasons in your life where you begged God to open doors, unaware that the version of you in that season could not have survived what lay behind those doors. So He hid you. He protected you from premature exposure. He covered you until you could carry the weight without collapsing. And now, chosen one, the covering is becoming a commissioning. The hidden anointing is becoming a revealed mantle. The private victories are becoming public authority. This is why you have been feeling the subtle shift inside of you that says, prepare, rise, pay attention. Something is coming. That feeling is not imaginary. It is heaven signaling you. The Spirit is also highlighting something deeply personal. Your voice is being restored. Many of you had your voice silenced in past seasons, whether through trauma, betrayal, rejection, or environments that minimized you. You learned to stay quiet to keep the peace. You learned to shrink to avoid conflict. You learned to dim your brilliance so others wouldn't feel threatened. But the Lord says that season is over. The enemy tried to silence you because even he recognized the authority in your voice before you did. But God is reopening your mouth with a new fire. You will speak differently, pray differently, declare differently. You will counsel differently. You will influence differently. Your voice will carry weight because it has been purified through pain and surrendered through process. Anointed One Heaven is also emphasizing the importance of spiritual responsibility. Elevation is not about status. It is about stewardship. The wealth that is coming is not random. It is strategic. You are being positioned to acquire, to build, to restore, to govern. This is not merely financial advancement, it is kingdom infrastructure being assigned to human vessels. And this is why God has been monitoring your heart so closely. He is ensuring that the blessing does not distort you, that the influence does not intoxicate you, and that the authority does not corrupt you. Heaven trusts you because you were willing to be broken before being blessed. Let me share a piece of my own journey again. There were moments when I wanted to rush what God was doing, not realizing that rushing would have ruined me. I wanted the promise without the process, the platform without the preparation. But every time I tried to force something prematurely, heaven resisted me gently but firmly. Only now, looking back, can I see that divine delay was divine protection. God wasn't saying no. He was saying not like this, not yet, not unprepared, and chosen one. This is exactly what He has done for you. Heaven has built a resilience in you that nothing can steal. You have endured storms others would have drowned in. You have survived attacks others would have collapsed under. You have walked through fires others never imagined, and you emerged not burned, but refined. That refinement is the proof that you are ready for what is coming next. And hear me clearly, you are ready. Even if you don't feel ready, heaven says you are. Chosen one. The Spirit is preparing you for a season of unexpected acceleration. Things that took years will begin happening in months. Things that took months will begin happening in days. But this acceleration will not overwhelm you because heaven has established your internal foundation. You are stepping into a dimension where the right doors open, the right people appear, the right resources flow, and the right opportunities align not because of luck, but because of obedience. Remain yielded, remain teachable, remain surrendered. The next revelation is unfolding even now. Chosen one. As we continue into this next movement of the revelation, the Spirit is impressing upon me that you are entering a season where precision matters more than ever before, not perfection precision. Heaven is calling you into a level of intentionality that will separate you from casual believers, from passive dreamers, and from those who wait for change instead of partnering with God to create it. You are not being shaped into someone who merely receives blessing. You are being shaped into someone who administers it, someone who governs it, someone who multiplies it, someone who protects it. This is why heaven has been so deliberate with your development. The mantle you carry requires accuracy. Anointed one. The Spirit is highlighting that you are stepping into a season of divine orchestration. This means heaven will begin aligning people, places, opportunities, and timing with a precision that cannot be explained by human logic. You will begin to notice strange alignments, meetings that seem accidental, open doors that appear out of nowhere, information placed in your path at the exact moment you need it. Pay attention. These are divine breadcrumbs leading you into your assignment. No step is wasted, no encounter is random. Heaven wastes nothing. Every moment is intentional, and you are walking in a season where intentionality becomes your greatest advantage. The Lord is also highlighting the crucial importance of spiritual sensitivity. Not the kind that makes you overly emotional, but the kind that makes you spiritually sharp. You will begin to notice that certain environments feel heavier than before, not because something is wrong with you, but because your spirit can no longer tolerate atmospheres that are misaligned. You will feel an urgency to protect your peace, your clarity, your focus. This is not isolation, it is insulation. Heaven is shielding you from noise, confusion, and distraction, so you can hear clearly in a season where clarity determines victory. Chosen one, hear this clearly. Heaven is preparing you for weight. Not the weight of burden, but the weight of purpose. There is a maturity being built in you that will allow you to carry wealth without arrogance, influence without manipulation, and authority without corruption. Many ask God for wealth, but heaven asks, can you carry the responsibility attached to it? Many want platforms, but heaven asks, can you stand without compromising? Many want visibility, but heaven asks, can you remain humble under honor? Your preparation has been intense because your assignment is intense. Let me speak from my own journey because authenticity must be part of every revelation. There were seasons where I felt like God was stripping me of things I thought I needed, people I leaned on, systems I trusted, opportunities I thought were my breakthrough. I cried out asking the Lord why he was removing so much at once, but later I realized that heaven was not taking from me, it was pruning me. God was removing everything I depended on so that when the assignment came, I would not worship the blessing but the one who gave it. And now, looking back, I see the wisdom in every loss. What I thought was abandonment was divine alignment. What I thought was a setback was divine sequencing. Everything was making room for what God intended to build. Anointed One Heaven is also emphasizing that you must prepare for responsibility. Wealth transfer is not only about receiving, it is about managing. Systems are shifting, markets are trembling, old structures are cracking, and when these systems shake, heaven will position its chosen ones to acquire, to build, to restore, and to govern. But stewardship requires structure. Influence requires agility. Authority requires purity. This is why the Spirit has been nudging you to get organized, to become disciplined, to elevate your habits, to refine your processes. Your future requires a version of you that is stronger, sharper, and more focused than ever before. The Spirit is also revealing that the next season of your life will require boldness, holy boldness, not reckless emotion. You will be asked to make decisions that feel uncomfortable because they challenge the limitations of your past. You will be asked to step into territories that feel unfamiliar because heaven has assigned them to your future. You will be asked to trust God at a level you never have before, not because you are failing, but because you are rising. Your faith is being stretched because your future is being enlarged. Heaven is calling you into deeper waters. Hear this with your spirit. You are being positioned for divine elevation. Not elevation that comes from man, which can be taken. Not elevation that comes from ambition, which can corrupt. But elevation that comes from God, which no force on earth can reverse. Doors will open because heaven commands them to. Opportunities will appear because heaven orchestrates them. Resources will flow because heaven releases them. You are not striving, you are aligning. You are not chasing, you are being positioned. Chosen one, this is a season where God will require your full attention. Not partial obedience, not partial surrender, not partial readiness. Heaven is asking for everything because heaven is giving you something that demands everything. Do not shrink. Do not second-guess yourself. Do not apologize for the calling on your life. Heaven has authored your assignment, and heaven will sustain it. Stay steady, stay yielded, stay bold. Heaven is still speaking, and what comes next carries even greater weight. Chosen one, as we move into this next portion of what the Spirit is revealing, I need you to breathe deeply and let these words settle into the deepest parts of your being. Heaven is declaring over you that you are entering a season where your spiritual authority will become visible even before your circumstances catch up. This means that the shift will first happen in your posture, in your mindset, in your voice, and in your decisions, long before it manifests in your environment. And this is intentional. The Lord always transforms His chosen ones internally before elevating them externally. Heaven is establishing your inner throne before placing you in outer assignments. Teetered. Many of you have been wondering why you feel a sudden seriousness in your spirit. You can no longer tolerate spiritual immaturity. You can no longer entertain certain conversations. You can no longer numb yourself with distractions. You can no longer pretend not to hear God's voice when He prompts you. This is because your mantle is awakening. Something ancient, something eternal, something heaven-seeded is being stirred inside of you. The authority that was always in you is now rising to the surface. It is not arrogance. It is not self-promotion. It is alignment. You are finally stepping into the version of yourself that heaven recognized long before the world saw you. And with this awakening comes a holy restlessness. You can no longer sit in places where your spirit feels suffocated. You can no longer partner with mindsets that keep you small. You can no longer silence your discernment to make others comfortable. This is the sign of divine calling overtaking human conditioning. Heaven is pulling you out of limitation and into leadership, whether you feel ready or not. Chosen one, the Lord is revealing something deeply personal. You have been underestimated, not because you lacked ability, but because heaven hid you. There were rooms you should have been invited into, opportunities you should have received, platforms you should have stood on, but God concealed you, not to punish you, but to protect you. You were too valuable to be mishandled by those who could not recognize your worth. You were too significant to be shaped by the wrong influences. You were too chosen to be validated by people who lacked spiritual eyesight. So heaven hid you in plain sight until the appointed time. That appointed time is drawing near. I feel led to speak from my own heart for a moment. There was a time when I could not understand why God would allow others to advance while I felt stuck, why He would ask me to wait while others acquired what I prayed for, why He would refine me so intensely while others moved freely. But later I realized God was not delaying me. He was anchoring me. Had He elevated me earlier, I would have been vulnerable to flattery, seduction, insecurity, or distraction. But because He refined me deeply when the elevation finally came, I was ready not just externally, but internally, and chosen one. That is exactly what He has been doing with you. Heaven is also speaking about capacity. The next season of your life will require more capacity, emotional capacity, spiritual capacity, mental capacity, leadership capacity. You are going to carry more than you've ever carried. You will influence people you haven't met yet. You will make decisions that affect landscapes beyond your own life. You will steward resources that have generational impact, and you cannot step into that kind of assignment with a yesterday-sized capacity. This is why God stretched you. This is why He allowed pressure. This is why your faith had to grow beyond what you thought you could endure. Chosen one, you are also entering a period of strategic relationships. Heaven is orchestrating connections with people who speak the language of your future, not the vocabulary of your past. These people will not be intimidated by your calling. They will not resent your growth. They will not compete with your vision. They will honor it, sharpen it, protect it, and elevate it. You will discern them when they appear because your spirit will feel rested, safe, and expanded in their presence. The Lord says, I am removing the counterfeit alignments so you can recognize the divine ones. But with divine relationships comes another reality some people cannot stay. Not because you lack love, but because your destinies are no longer aligned. Do not grieve what God Himself is removing. Do not hold on to what heaven is releasing. You are not abandoning them. You are obeying God, and if He must separate you to save you, He will. Heaven is also speaking about the emergence of spiritual boldness. You will begin to speak truths you were too afraid to say before. You will confront things you once tolerated. You will move in assignments you once doubted. You will take steps that your old self would never have dared to take. Boldness is not coming from your personality. It is coming from your anointing. Anointed one. Listen closely. The version of you that heaven has been building is about to be revealed. Not later, not someday, not when conditions are perfect, but soon. Very soon. Your authority is rising. Your voice is strengthening. Your discernment is sharpening. Your mantle is activating. Your path is opening. And heaven is not finished. There is more to unfold. Chosen one. As we enter this final movement of the word, I feel a deep, holy weight settle in my spirit, because what heaven is revealing now is not just encouragement and not just preparation, it is commissioning. The Lord is declaring that you are stepping into a season where everything He has built inside you, every lesson, every wound, every breakthrough, every shedding, every stretching will now converge into clarity. You are about to understand why the journey was so long, why the pruning cut so deep, why the silence lasted so long, and why the pressure intensified at the exact moments you wanted to quit. None of it was random. None of it was wasted. Heaven was shaping you into someone who could carry what others forfeited. Anointed one. The Spirit is showing me that you are approaching the threshold of manifestation. This is where what God spoke in private will begin to materialize in public. This is where invisible preparation becomes visible fruit. This is where spiritual authority becomes tangible influence. You may not feel ready, but heaven says you are. Not because you have mastered everything, but because your heart has been tested and proven. Heaven does not look for perfection. Heaven looks for surrender, and you have surrendered even when it would have been easier to walk away. You have endured seasons where you labored with no applause, gave with no recognition, prayed with no confirmation, and obeyed with no visible reward. But those unseen seasons are about to speak louder than anything you've walked through. The Lord says, what they did not see in the wilderness, they will see in the promise. You are crossing over even if the ground does not yet look different. Crossing always happens internally before it manifests externally. Chosen. One heaven is also releasing something powerful over you, the mantle of execution. Until now, much of your journey has been about revelation, God showing you who you are, what you carry, and where you are going. But revelation without execution is potential without impact. This is why the Spirit is activating a sharper discipline in you. Ideas you once shelved will now stir with urgency. Instructions you once delayed will become non-negotiable. Dreams you once kept quiet will now demand action. Heaven is shifting you from waiting to building, from discerning to implementing, from preparing to possessing. Another truth the Lord is releasing is this: your steps will be supernaturally ordered. You will find yourself in the right place at the right time with the right people in ways you could not humanly orchestrate. There will be divine collisions, moments where purpose meets timing, where alignment meets opportunity, where obedience meets breakthrough. These alignments will not be subtle. They will be obvious. Heaven is amplifying your path. Anointed one. The Spirit is also revealing that a new level of protection is being placed around you, not because you are fragile, but because you're valuable. You are carrying something the enemy fears, something he tried to sabotage during your breaking seasons, something he attempted to suffocate with discouragement, something he hoped you would abandon in exhaustion. But you didn't. You survived what was meant to silence you. You endured what was meant to distort you. You rose from what was meant to bury you. And because you made it through the warfare of preparation, heaven is assigning angels to guard the fulfillment. I feel led to share one more part of my own journey because transparency is part of impartation. There were times I thought the warfare was punishment. Times I thought God was withholding something. Times I thought delay meant denial. But now I understand, the deeper the call, the deeper the preparation. God wasn't punishing me. He was protecting the vision He placed inside me. And the same is true for you. You have been entrusted with something too important to be rushed. Chosen one. The Lord is also speaking about impact beyond your lifetime. What you build, what you steward, what you acquire, what you establish, these things will outlive you. Wealth transfer was never about temporary comfort. It was about generational infrastructure. Heaven is calling you to think in decades, not days, in legacies, not moments, in nations, not neighborhoods. You are becoming a builder of systems, a carrier of solutions, a distributor of resources, a planter of truth. You are being shaped into someone who changes the spiritual economy of families, communities, industries, and regions. And yet hear this with great tenderness: you will not walk alone. Heaven is surrounding you. Heaven is guiding you. Heaven is backing you. Heaven is reinforcing you. The Spirit of God is not sending you into this next season as a servant, trembling before a task, but as a son or daughter stepping into inheritance. You are not chasing breakthrough, you are the breakthrough. You are not waiting for transformation, you carry transformation. The assignment is not resting on your strength, it is resting on His. Anointed One, lift your head, square your shoulders, align your spirit. Heaven is commissioning you. The season ahead will require courage, clarity, and devotion, but it will also reveal joy, fulfillment, acceleration, and supernatural provision. You have been prepared, you have been refined, you have been chosen. Now walk forward. The mantle is yours. The timing is now, and heaven is with you, chosen one. As we close this moment together, breathe in the presence of God that is resting upon you even now. You did not watch this by accident. Heaven has spoken, heaven has aligned, and heaven has confirmed that you are standing in your Kairos moment, your divinely appointed time. The supernatural transfer is already unfolding, not someday, not eventually, but now. The stirring you feel is the witness of the Spirit, that the mantle on your life is awakening and the path before you is opening. Anointed One, may the peace of God settle upon you like a mantle, steady, anchoring, unshakable. May clarity rise within you. May courage strengthen you. May discernment sharpen you. And may every step you take from this moment forward be guided by the hand of the Father who has never left your side. What He promised, He will perform. What He began, He will finish. What He whispered in secret, He will reveal in due time. Chosen. 1. Stay faithful. Stay yielded. Stay aligned with the flow of His anointing. Do not shrink back when you feel the shift. Lean into it. Do not fear the shaking He is positioning you. Look ahead with gratitude, expectation, and reverence, for what is coming to you is greater than what has been. If this word confirmed something in your spirit, share it below so we can stand in faith with you. And if you desire to walk this journey together, feel free to subscribe and stay connected. But above all, remain in His presence. I bless you, Anointed One. May His peace rest upon you, and may His favor go before you. Go in boldness, go in faith, go in the power of the Spirit. Your time is here.